Barakateyawa, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rachakudash. Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is, the more you deny it, the more the evidence piles up. And it's so heavy that it has these individuals that have been denying that the motb is a C-hip, scrambling now to try and save face, pretty much, because that's pretty much what they're doing. One thing you'll learn about certain of these individuals that they're very slick, and seeing that the scriptures call them foxes in the desert. You see them scrambling now because they're setting the stage for when they fully implement this C-hip, which is the motb. They can say that they've been talking about it. It's a damn shame, but it is what it is. That's the way it's set up in the spirit. That's the way the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai wants it. So we have to just see how it plays out. Now, pretty much this lesson is just based around an article that was sent to me today by a brother in the main camp in New York, the brother that helps me with the calendars, the brother Quanawaf, the Benjaminite brother. This is dated 1/23/23, so this is actually today. It says human micro C-hip implants take center stage. They're doing what? They're taking center stage. Why are they taking center stage? Is it taking center stage because they just happen to roll out there by chance? Are they taking center stage because, they just wanted to just throw it out there just for the public to kind of throw people off because they got something else that they're working on, and they just want people to think that it's this, but it really isn't? Is it a cover-up? Are they just using this as a cover-up? Are they using it as a false flag? Or is it that the reason why it's taking center stage is because it's finally coming out that this is the prophecy of the motb in the book of Revelation? Habakkuk 2:1 says, I will stand upon my watch and set me upon a tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And we are the watchmen on the watchtower, watching to see what's going on through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And we're seeing and been seeing all of the things that are coming, and have been warning from that tower, barking day and night, to Jake out there in America, Babylon the Great, and throughout the world. And for the most part, we've been ridiculed, we've been laughed at, we've been, slandered. False witnesses have been, laid against us. We've been labeled as conspiracy theorists in the truth. We've been labeled all kind of labels. The Offscar in the worst camp ever. The lowest of the low. GMS, the lowest of the low. But as we see time progressing forward, everything that the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai has had us speaking, beginning with Elder Pastor on down, are coming to pass now. They're coming to the light. They are taking center stage. Matter of fact, let's do something real quick. Let's go to let's see what this says. Center stage meaning the center of a stage, at or toward the middle of a stage. What does mean by center stage? Damn, who the hell wrote that? A heathen? The central part of a theatrical stage. Let's see what else we got. Right, the limelight, spotlight, focus, media attention, focus of interest. Now, why is it the focus of interest? Because this is prophecy, and we're seeing it play out right before us. It says, Habakkuk 2:2, and the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables that he may run that readeth it. Right, because at that time it wasn't time for the C-hip to come out. You talking about going back to roughly around 500 BC, somewhere around there or so. You know, going back to the Medieval Persian Empire. So that was definitely not the time for the C-hip, because the vision of the C-hip hadn't even come out yet. It wouldn't be at least another 400 or 500 years in the future, 600 years in the future or so, that the vision itself would come out. It says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time. And the appointed time, how do we know when the appointed time comes? It says, but at the end it shall speak, because at the appointed time this prophecy will start speaking and not lie. Why? Because this is something that the Lord said was going to happen. Like the Apostle Peter said, we have a more sure word of prophecy. Though it tarry, though it seem like it's taking a long time, wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it. Because it will surely come. It will not tarry. So we're at the point now where it's not tarrying anymore. And that's the title right there. It's not tarrying anymore. That's a title for a lesson right there. I know the brother's probably laughing right now. You know what I'm talking about. Bakwar Muff. It's not tarrying right now. All right. So human microchip implants take center stage. It says the novelty of replacing one's home key with microchips implant is gaining worldwide interest, but there's another more compelling story under the surface. No pun intended, under the surface. Why is this technology an integrated circuit the size of a grain of rice? And remember, the individual from the WEF, World Economic Forum, said that he saw the CBDC and he said, is this size? And he pointed, he made his two fingers come together as if he was holding a micro C-hip between it. Reviled by some, well, those that are in the know of what's going on, you know, those that know that it's the motb, and celebrated by self-proclaimed human cyborgs, right? Because this is what's coming. People are going to become automatons, cyborgs, so on and so forth. Arguably, William Shakespeare's Hamlet offers the most elegant explanation. Nothing is neither good nor bad, but thinking makes it so. So pretty much what he's saying is it's in the eyes of the beholder. But it's bad. It's good and it's bad. It's good because it's letting us know that we're at the very end, and it's bad for those who take it. However, it would be prudent to tell Prince Hamlet that not all microchips implants are designed alike, and understanding the technological design enables one to better evaluate the competing viewpoints. Today, more than 50,000 people have elected to have a subdermal C-hip surgically inserted between the thumb and index. Now, how is it surgically inserted? Because what does it mean to be, what is surgery? To cut into. What is the cutting into part of it? The delivery system, which is that, you know, that device where the C-hip comes out of, it has a point. You push it under the skin and you push it down, and then eventually the C-hip comes through that, and then it enters into the region between the thumb and the index finger. Inserted between the thumb and index fingers serve as their new swipe key or credit card. Swipe key or credit card. In Germany, for example, more than 2,000 Germans have opted to receive. What does this remind us of? Those that received the motb, right? These implants, to receive these implants. One man even used it to store a link to his last will and testament. God damn. As CHIP storage capacity, what? Increases. Can somebody tell me what a RFID micro CHIP has to do with buying and selling? As CHIP storage capacity increases, and guess what? Once that's full, you have what? A database connected to that number of each one of those CHIPs, where online there's more information stored if required. That's the purpose for the what? The final root word of the charagma of the motb in Revelation 13:16, which is grapho, which means the writings or the records. The basic records will be on it, and if there's anything else that needs to be, got from that, or any more information that's needed, they could easily go to a computer where it has all of the information stored. You don't need all of your information except for your name, your address, your so-called race or whatever the case may be, however they're gonna do it, and your medical records, things like that. The most important on there is your financial records. It says perhaps users could even link to the complete works of Shakespeare, right? Because now there was you brothers help me out. I know you know. There was I'm not sure if it was Netflix. They had a series where you had that device in people's head to where you could just listen to music inside of your head just by thinking it. There was I believe it was a series. I don't think it was a movie. I believe it was a series. If brothers know what I'm talking about, Microchip, you could post it on there. Maybe I might try to see if I could take a look at that again. Because this is what it is. It's these devices inside of you, allow you to have access to the internet without even having to use your hands. Just by merely thinking about it, you can access the internet. And that's what they're doing. They're trying to put everybody online. IOB, the Internet of Bodies. CHIP implants. Black Mirror, was that Black Mirror? Okay. Do you remember what episode that was, brother? If you could, if you remember, if you could just post that so I can, because there's a lot of there were a lot of them, a lot of different ones, and the pastor is putting a link, so you brothers can go to that link to see what that is. There's a couple of links, 2 of them. Lord's will I can get to them. CHIP implants is just one of the many types of emerging technologies in the Internet of Things, an expanding digital cosmos of wirelessly connected Internet-enabled devices. Some technologists are worried, however, the hackers targeting IoT vulnerabilities in sensors and network architecture also may try to hack CHIP implants. Radio frequency identification, RFID CHIPs, are identifying transponders that typically carry a unique identification number and can be tagged with the user data, such as health records, social media profiles, and what? Financial information. Can somebody tell me what an RFID CHIP has to do with buying and selling? A sister told me that her cat or her dog has a CHIP. I said, well, maybe your dog can buy you some lamb, sister. This is why you see these individuals backtracking now. Talking about, yeah, well, they might throw a micro CHIP in there. Remember last week, I did a lesson, where I went into, this, about the digital currency. Because why? Because what they're doing is covering their ass so that when it fully comes out, they can say, well, we've always been talking about it. The nerve of these guys. But as much as sometimes I just speak for myself personally, I get upset and mad about that. What comforts me is what the Apostle Paul said, whether in pretense or in sincerity, Yahushua is preached, and I do therein rejoice. Because at the end of the day, the truth is going to come out anyway, by whichever means it comes out. And that's all to the account and to the glory of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. So let's get it on. All right. So let's see what else we got here. There's one part in here that I wanted to get to. You can read the rest. I put this in the description box, for brothers that want to, read more right here. According to a 2021 United Kingdom-based consumer survey by Propeller Insights on digital payment trends in Europe, 51% of the approximately 2,000 respondents said they would consider getting a C-hip implant pay for services. So this is more than 50%. This is more than half. So that means that about out of 2,000 people, 1,001, maybe a little more, 1,100 or so, said that they would get this thing. Okay? This technology is especially popular in Sweden as a substitute for paying with cash. Only 1 in 4 people living in Sweden use cash at least once a week, writes NPR. More than 4,000 Swedes have replaced keycard for C-hip implants to use for gym access, e-tickets on railway travel, and to store emergency contact information. See? Now, it is true that this thing is going to make people's lives much convenient, much easier, more convenient. But guess what? The penalty is destruction. Let's see. The Elder Apostle put a zombie noun, variant, or less commonly zombie, willless and speechless human. Right. In other words, you're just doing or going through the motions of the action of the puppet master that's controlling you. As in voodoo, belief and in fictional stories, held to have died and been supernaturally reanimated. There you go. Let me get this precept that the brother put up. Let me see. Here we go. I'm just going to go straight to the point. Matter of fact, I'll start here at 9. It says, 2 Thessalonians 2:9, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders. In verse 10, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they received not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. Right, because the truth has been out there. It's not our fault that they didn't, take heed. Because this devil is coming with all deceivableness after the workings of Satan. All right. So it says the technology also may offer increased mobility for people with physically limiting health conditions. Here comes the part about the one that goes in the forehead, such as rheumatoid arthritis, multiple sclerosis, and motor neuron disease. According to Biotech, a UK-based tech firm, for example, because this is going to be a worldwide event, not just one place. A wheelchair mobile person can approach a door and the reader will unlock the door. Okay, you could use that in the hand, but also the head, because they can think. I think it. Inside joke. They could think it, and it could happen. Avoiding the need for keys that the person may not be able to use for themselves. Biotech is also exploring providing micro-C-hip services for those who are visually impaired to create trigger audible or touch sensory signals in the home. Despite these benefits, the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists avers that main challenges to C-hip implants are security, safety, and privacy. Let's see. And that's pretty much it. So pretty much it's saying here, Habakkuk 2:3, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak. It's speaking loud and clear right now. It says, and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. So it's not going to tarry. I believe this is Ezekiel 33. Right. I'm going to go straight to the point. It says, and when this cometh to pass, meaning all of the prophecies of the scriptures, lo, it will come, then shall they know that a prophet hath been among them. So you're going to be able to distinguish between who is a true prophet of the Lord and who is not. All right. Now there was a precept that came to mind. I'm trying to yep, beautiful. Barakatah Bashem El Shai. Just bear with me 1 second till I get it. All right. So then you're going to be able to discern between a true prophet and a false prophet. And we're seeing now through the Spirit, out of all these different groups that have been denying that the CHIP is a motb, that it's looking like they are the false prophets. That's why the name of the lesson is, the more you deny it, the more the evidence piles up. And the evidence is overwhelming. The receipts are long as a day is long, or something like that. No, that's I fucked that up. Excuse my French. But the receipts are stacked yea high. So Revelation 19:10 says, and I fell at his feet to worship him, and he said unto me, see thou do it not. I am thy fellow servant and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahushai. Worship the Most High, for the testimony of Yahushai is the what? The spirit of prophecy. And we're seeing right now who are the men of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai in contrast to those who are not. And this is why Yahushai said, not everyone that saith unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter to the kingdom. Because here it is, you have individuals out there that do use the name Yahushai, not Jesus. Some of them use Jesus, some of them use Christ, but some of them use Yahushai. And they still deny that the motb is a CHIP. So when Yahushua comes back, if they don't repent, the Lord gonna tell them, depart from me, ye workers of iniquity. I never knew you. You know, because they're doing despite to his prophecy, to his word, and what they're doing is they're putting the people to sleep. They're not preparing them for what's coming. They're not preparing them for what's coming. Just bear with me 1 second. They're not preparing Jake for the things that are to come. You know. Get a couple of precepts and then it could close out. Revelation 3 and 4. O Israel, thy prophets are like the what? Foxes in the deserts. Sneaky, conniving, sly, looking how to get over on you, pulling over that sleight of hand over you. You have not gone up into the gaps. What are the gaps? Out there in the streets. And even some of these groups during the time of the winter, they take off. They don't even go out there because it's too cold. Now, if it's terrible out there, you know, of course you're not going to be out there. But if it's, 30 something degrees or something like that, that's, you just got to bear it. But if it's like 15 degrees below zero, or, just impossible, or there's a storm and you can't be out there, that's understandable. But if it's within your power to go out there, you should be out there all year round, in season, out of season. So there's some of them don't even go out to the gap. Some of them have convinced themselves that they don't have to go out in the streets anymore. That's why because they receive a strong delusion that they should believe a lie. Neither made up the what? The hedge for the house of Israel to stand in the battle. So they're not preparing them in the day of the Lord. Why? Because they're giving an uncertain sound in this alarm. They're not blowing an alarm. They're blowing a trumpet, but they ain't blowing it right. And when they do blow it, they're blowing it more so for partying and bullshit than they are for warning and preparedness. 1 Corinthians 4:8. For if the trumpet give an uncertain sound, who shall prepare himself to the battle? So you're not giving them the right battlements. You're not warning them of things that are coming. And it took, we've been out there barking our heads off through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, but it took the prophecies to actually start revealing themselves on a level to where the hardest scoffer out there couldn't deny it. So now they're backpedaling and backtracking and trying to, see what they can do to salvage, and save face. This is why they say, well, they might throw microchip in there. And I said, well, you know, we know that they got this, the micro C-hip out there. Yeah, but for a long time, for years, you guys been denying it, saying it's not. It ain't no damn C-hip. You know, they say, you know, put the C and the hip together. C-hip is, you know, that's our word. But they've been saying that for a long time. But now that it's so evident that a blind man can see it, now they're backpedaling and backtracking, you know, and you know, backstroking, doing the moonwalk, you know, because they have to save face. But wait a minute, didn't you guys say that wasn't it? That the motb was not the C-hip? No, but if you listen real close, moron, we did speak about the CBDC. We did speak about the digital currency. We did say they might throw a micro C-hip in there. We did say that the micro C-hip is out there and they're pushing it, but it just wasn't time back then. Watch. It's June. Ain't no micro C-hip. It's June. Oh, Lord. Ezekiel 3:17, Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore hear the word in my mouth and give them warning from me. And that's what the true prophets are doing. You know, they're giving a warning. They're telling them what's going on. And guess what? It's all coming out. The evidence is overwhelming. It's pouring out. You know? Literally pouring out. So much so that they even talking about it in one of the biggest meetings that they have all year round, which is that Davos meeting, the WEF. It's overwhelming. So now you got the scramblers, you know, the backtrackers, you know, the wallflowers are starting to come up off the wall, starting to get their back up off the wall, you know, because they're seeing, oh man, we got to do something, man, because this thing is, you know, coming like an avalanche. You know, we got to do something. So they're scrambling. The scramblers. All right. So pretty much, you know, you get it. I put this in the description box so you brothers can read it for yourself. Human micro C-hip implants take center stage. This was out today. The brother sent me this video. I mean, this info. So with that, I pray that you brothers and few sisters have been edified. To the next time I say, Shalom.